Hi, welcome to my shop again. Today we're going to do well, I don't know. It's a bowl, it's a hollow form, it's calabash shape, kind of having a gourd shape. No foot on the bottom, so it doesn't have a flat, so it just teeters on the bottom. All right, let's get started. I've got a pretty interesting piece of tree here. It's got some spalting in it. I've been sitting around since last summer when it was cut in the heat of the summer, so it started to spalt. This was a very big tree, had a bunch of lobes. This was an area down near the ground, and it was a very big tree. This is the center of the tree that was all rotten. This tree is probably 30, 36 inches in diameter altogether. And that rotten part is what I want is my interesting area here that I want to capture in the top of my vessel or top of my, in this case, going to be a calabash kind of shaped bowl. And so I want that to be my natural edge at the top and come down into a gourd shape down in here and capture all of the spalting and character of the wood. So that's what we're after at this point. Okay, putting this between centers with all of this distressed, rotted, punky, worm-infested wood here, this is where my drive center is going to go. So I'm going to take a large, I think this is about 1.5 inch Forstner bit, and clean off a little bit of this so that my drive center will seat. But want to be on my balance point so that I can get the speed up, make these corners go around. Get my face shield going here. Doing a push cut with the bevel supported. Even though there's air spaces, the bevel's directing it, supporting it. Now I'm starting to see that this side is a lot higher than this side. So I want to tilt this now. I'm going to raise this side and I'm going to lower this side so that I can get that natural edge to be relatively true to the table. Move it over. Oh, maybe about 1/4 inch. Can't do too much because I don't want to get it too far out of balance. True it up again and see what we see how we accomplished. All right, how'd I do with my top? My top is here. Those are the two points of my top. I don't know if that'll hold on, but got some strong wood there. And I go over here, and this is still quite a bit lower. So I'm going to tilt it one more time. So now I've moved my axis, 4 times to accomplish this, to get this balanced and where I want it, and the color and the character of the wood. It's all round all the way around except for a little flat spot here. So do I want to use a faceplate or do I want to use a glue block? This is never use a chuck on a hollow form. We've talked about that many times before. The more waste wood that I leave here, the more options that I have when I start to finish the bottom of this. So I want to keep this, so I'm going to use a glue block. Still using a push cut. every time, and the push cut uses the tip of the tool. Now I'm going to switch to scraping, clean up the tool marks from the push cut. Using the wing now, the broad brush of the wing, very gently. Use Cindy's light here. Center is dished out just a very little bit. Put the accelerator now on the glue block only. Don't let it spray, overspray on the piece, so I'm doing it off camera behind me. Coat hanger in. Squeeze it down. Done deal. Now I have to wait 2-3 minutes. All right. What's a calabash bowl? Calabash is a gourd shape. Probably best known as its use is widely used in the Polynesian area or Hawaii as a utility vessel. I'm not sure, but I think, why is it called calabash is because calabash is a gourd. And so if we have a gourd shape and they use the bottom of it as a bowl or a vessel and a round bottom where it would sit in the sand or on the dirt, probably back before there's tables and chairs and things like that. So usually it doesn't have a foot, but has a rounded bottom. So this is kind of the shape that we're after. I want the natural edge to come in here and have this OG reveal here come back a little bit to accentuate the natural edge and all of the color and character that's in there. Little trick on the natural edge here. We got Cindy's light again with the magnets. I'm going to put that on there. You see how the light shines on the wood? I can see where the wood is. Without the light, it disappears, and the voids just become a blur that you can't see. So Cindy's light's going to help me know where that wood is. Let's look at this grain orientation. The grain is running this way. All right, so on the outside of the form, to have supported fibers, I want to make my cuts up towards the largest diameter, down towards the largest diameter, so that I'm going with supported fibers downhill to the fibers. The direction is really important so that it's not torn out. This is a little bit punky. I got really lucky here that this is in a perfect time frame for spalting and color and the worm infested inside damage that was done to this tree, all of this coming together at the same time. If I would wait another even a couple weeks in summertime, this piece would be starting to rot and get punky. It is just on the verge of punky now. It's a little bit soft in some places, but that's okay. It's still hardwood. I'm in a perfect timeline for catching this at its peak of using it. So I still want to take advantage of my grain orientation so that I'm going the correct way to the grain, even though it's still solid. Why don't we evaluate a curved line with a straight line with the light behind it? You can see there's a little bit of an arc there. Here's a light on the back side so that you can see that curve, and there's no straight flat spots. It's a nice subtle curve all the way through. Alright, let's get on the inside and just make a uniform wall thickness. Now all of the design and shape decisions have been on the outside. I can do a little bit of this with the bowl gouge, but this is you might say it's a bowl, but in my terminology it's a hollow form because I can't have bevel supported cuts with the bowl gouge in there. Let's start working in a small stage and see if we can't do it without it breaking up. Now because I'm working right in this area here, let's get the tool rest in there where we're going to need it. Alright, we have to work in small stage. We want to work in small stages so that we don't get any flex and vibrate and cause all those little wormholes and stress fly out. So I'm going to make it just a little bit thinner than that. I'm going to take one more cut. So I'm going to go sharpen. I'm going to get a brand new sharp edge on my tool. Line up my bevel first. Come back out. Move it over. Take another cut. I'm going to take about 1/8 of an inch more. Leave that maybe about a 3/16 wall thickness. See the very slow pace I'm going, so I don't stress the wood. All right, let's take a look at this with the overhead camera so that you can see this finish from that surface behind with those sharp tools. Nice uniform wall thickness, and you can see all of the character of the inside of that shape. Now we're down to where it's round, 360 degrees, it's in solid wood, and I can't really get any deeper in there as I'm going in there with the bevel supported cut. I'm risking hitting the other side of the bowl with the shaft, so I can't do that. I can't go any deeper in there, so I've got to switch gears now and call this a hollow form and hollow this out with the boring bar and laser guided measuring system. Alright, now I've got my boring bar set up. Everything is captured and stable, so there's nothing, can't get any catches, nothing can go wrong. I could just use my fingertips and hollow out. This is the Hunter carbide cutter so that it's slicing, it's on an angle, and it's a sharp carbide, so it's razor sharp. I can use a little bit more force. I'm going to use my other hand so I can take a more of a grip and be more aggressive. Take a little bit larger shavings now if I want to. I don't have to, but you know, it's kind of boring. Boring, pun intended, I guess. So the same game plan I always do for every hollow form. I've got my glue block on here with my faceplate and screws. I've got waste wood out here. I've got my vessel coming out here. First thing I did is I drilled that drill hole down. I don't know where the bottom's going to be until I finish this bottom part, so I've done my first stage on the outside of the top. I'm going to do the second stage by hollowing that part. I'm going to do stage 3 down here, which is going to finish this bottom. And then stage 4 is when I'm going to hollow down in the bottom. So right now I need to keep this wood where stage 3 is so that it doesn't vibrate out there. And we're going to hollow out stage 2. First thing I did is drill a drill hole, not all the way to the bottom because I don't know where that's at until I do stage 3. So we're going to just now do a cylindrical shape hole in here to get all the waste wood out, and that allows the shavings to roll out and I don't have to stop and fight with shavings. Once I start to undercut a shoulder, then the shavings start to pile up on me in the largest diameter. So it's just easier to hog off. Before I start measuring at all, I'm just going to hog off a center of this and do it quick and easy. If you notice, we're making shavings in there, not sawdust, because I'm slicing with the carbide cutter on an angle and not using it in scraping mode. So we're going to use the laser to measure the wall and take it in small stages and measure as we go, and then never go back here. This is all done. We'll never go back. We're going to set the laser so that there's a gap between the cutter and the laser. That gap is going to be my caliper. That gap is my wall thickness. Just a little over 1/4 inch. Now the laser's a dot. I can see where I'm at. I can see how deep I am in there and the shape inside. Make the laser disappear. That'll measure my wall thickness. When the gap is left over, the laser drops off and shines on the bed of the lathe. Then I know that that wall thickness is correct. Stop. Stop. So now I measured that area there. That's probably half an inch or so, 3/4 maybe. Now I'm just going to clean up the tool marks. And this is a cool thing with the captured system, that I can clean up the tool marks just like taking a pencil and writing a curved line on a piece of paper. Make it perfectly smooth in there. In this case, because I can see in there with this large opening, I want to make this really nice without any tool marks. Oh yeah, very, very nice. Woo. Can't see it from that angle, but we'll show you when I get done. As I get a little deeper in here, I'm going to have to change my laser position from here where the gap is 90 degrees through the wall to here where the gap is 90 degrees through the wall to make sure that it's giving me an accurate reading. So I go here, and now the laser with that angle, the laser's not 90 degrees to the wall again. I have to move that laser over, put the laser on the line. Still got my 1/4 inch. Got to get down into here, so I got to go a little bit deeper with my hogging off. Get into my hole again. Okay, measure, measure, measure. Now if I had one of these boring bars where I was standing at the end of the lathe and looking in the hole, I couldn't see my laser from behind here. I'd still be dead in the water, so this is really nice to just be able to use fingertip control and watch the laser as the laser disappears. I know my wall thickness is there, it's perfect. Alright, now I've got all this hollowed all the way down to here. Inside and out, it's all finished. I can wait a little bit. If this is too wet, I can wait a little bit to sand it. I'm going to finish this bottom part and then I'll come back and sand this before I take it off the lathe. But I need to get rid of this stage 3 to establish where my bottom is going to be and get rid of all this junk wastewood. Push cut into the side of the tree fibers again. My hollowing is only going to be in this last little inch, maybe half inch in the bottom there. Now I have to follow this line right down in there. Get rid of that wood. Alright, I need to do a pull cut now to sneak up on this because I want to cut the fibers supported downhill to the fibers. So in a bowl format, I got to go from the small diameter out towards the large diameter. So I'm going to lower my handle, use the side of the bevel, and slice those fibers cleanly. Bevel support first, roll my wrist, get a little shaving going, pull it forward. Bevel first. See, I'm using the tip of the tool with small shavings. I don't need to take a lot of wood now. I'm refining that line. Now I've got this line really nice. I've sheared scraped this so there's no torn out grain. Everything is sandable now with about 320 grit sandpaper. And now I have to go back inside and just do this last little bit of hollowing inside. But I know exactly where I'm going to sit on the table right now, and so I know my depth of where to hollow inside. Have to reset my laser to go 90 degrees through the wall, get my perpendicularity again. So now my card goes way around the bottom part of it, and my laser gap, there's an arrow line that's 90 degrees from the tangent, so the laser has to be on the arrow line. It's not. So let's move that over. Accurately 90 degrees to the wall. Now there's where my last stage ended up. So I got to make my laser disappear here. Stop. 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 What other caliper would you be able to use to get down in here? We could just guess. You just see I'm just using my fingertips so that I got a very slow, delicate touch there. Don't need to be aggressive. Don't need to white knuckle. Don't need any strength. This is a finesse thing, not a strength thing. That is looking so sweet down in there. I think I'm just going to leave it. I can go back and clean up any tool marks, but that's a beautiful arc in there. I'm going to live with that just the way it is. Beautiful. All right. Okay. We got her inside and out. I'm pleased with it. Now, while it's in this position, still on the glue block, I want to give this time to dry out. I'm going to go to lunch. I'm going to take a break here, give it a couple hours, and I'm going to come back and sand this. One of the rules that I have in sanding or use in my carving is to have one element stationary. So while my piece is on the lathe, I can bring my tool up to it. While a piece is off the lathe, like I'm going to do right now, I want to sand the inside of this. And so I'm going to sand it off the lathe. I want something stationary, so I use my drill press up inside of here. Now I can see real easily what's happening as I sand in there. I can use larger or smaller discs to get the areas that I need. Now I've got it mounted on the lathe with a block in here that's tall enough to reach down into the bottom so that I can hold it with the tailstock. I will have access to this bottom now to make this nice and round, and I'll take this waste wood away all the way down so that it's nice and round. I made a cardboard template, little paper template, just took a compass and cut an arc that was equal to my size of the vessel there. So now I can sneak up on that bottom with no flat spots and humps on it when I get done. Make a nice sweeping arc here. While I was inside with my laser, I put that pencil mark on there so I know exactly where the inside is, and I can finish this outside with no fear. Okay, we got her done. We finished that bottom, so took that little nub off and sanded that so that it's a nice uh, dome spherical shape. Lots of color and character in the wood. Once we put some oil on it, you can see the nature of the spalting and the character of the distressed wood around the middle of the tree. Again, this was the outside of the tree here. This was the inside that was all rotten. There's a picture of the inside. Got some voids in it. Beautiful character. So I had to sand that inside and get that nice and clean in there. Okay, I'm loving it. Thank you for watching, and keep in touch on my YouTube channel and my Facebook and my local IRDs that I do from my website. 3-4 weeks I do a live interactive remote demo, and check the like so that we can pass on the good news. It helps me so that I can make more of them and do them more frequently. See you next time.